Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfside channel. Today with a very special topic, always special. The new age of Myrland. So we talked about the Mortal Online 2 lore before. There are two videos linked down in the description. And now we are talking about the time after the eruption and what all the clades and all the races have done after that. And I will tell the story like I did with the first two episodes with my own words instead of reading Starbolt's text, because it's maybe a simpler English and easier to understand. So first up, the Khurites. These guys are tough as nails after the eruption. For everyone who don't know, basically a catastrophic event that wiped out a huge chunk of the population. The Khurites were almost destroyed. Almost. Some escaped to a place called Toxide. You all know Toxide. For the Blood Core, of course. And these tribes remained and had band together to survive at Toxide. They set up a confederation to pool resources together around Toxide, and it's led by someone who called himself Deed Mogul. It's here on the screen. I don't know if the pronunciation is correct. So things were starting to look up until the Tindremic Empire showed up again at Toxide. And I guess this FBI meme describes it the best. Tindremic Empire, open up! So the Tindremic Empire more or less stormed the capital Morincourt and wiped out the leaders in a brutal ambush. It was a total massacre, but the Khurites didn't give in. So the Khurites formed the Khurite United Tribes, and these are here for the last 30 years, and they've been fighting back the Tindremic Empire with guerrilla warfare. And their ultimate goal is to take back Morincourt. So Morincourt is now under the control of the Tindremic Empire. So now to the Alvarins. A lot of you may be playing an Alvarin, a Chevra or a Vila. These are basically the elves of Nave, the elves of Mortal Online. So they are super graceful, super smart, but during the chaos they helped the Khurites by providing supplies from their colonies. But their nation, the Anam Sith, decided to not get involved into the war with the Tindremic Empire. But why? Because they got their revenge on the Tindremic Empire when the two Alvarin assassins took out their leader, Livy Decolator. Yes, and it's exactly the guy that made the new Tindremic calendar that is called the Decolator that we still have today. But he's now dead because he's assassinated by the Anam Sith. So the Alvarins really didn't like the Tindremic calendar, I guess. So they simply don't give a shit about the Tindremic Empire, more or less. And now to the Tindremic Empire. Speaking of the Tindremic Empire, these guys are like the classic conquerors of any fantasy story ever. They took over Morincourt and called it the Heroic Conquest. They just killed everyone in their way. Everyone. Their leader, the new leader after the Decolator, Isaios Avitus. What a G, what a G. He's a party-loving teenager who didn't care much about politics at all, but there are rumors. There are a lot of rumors around Tindrem that he's building up a huge fleet for war. And it's there to expand the empire and defend against any threats, so nobody knows what he's actually wanting to do. But even a few Tindrems are scared. Meanwhile, the empire is rebuilding itself and is thriving. But there are also some sickness spreading in Tindrem, a new pandemic that is called Diadema. Or could it be that the Alvarins may be poisoning the wells in Tindrem? I don't know. But it also could be just karma. There is no explanation for this pandemic. So now the hidden Huergars and Blainns. So the Huergars that are hidden under Hill Speyer in their Huergar cave that they have sealed off. So they don't care about anything outside of that. And the other Huergars are living in Tindrem and are completely fanboys of the Tindremic Empire and their new calendar. For the Blainns, this is another topic. So meanwhile, the Blainns who used to live in snowy mountains are slowly coming back, forming closer bonds with the Huergars. It's like something big is boiling under the surface. But basically most of the Blainns escaped to Nordfeld and still resisting against the Empire. Successfully resisting against the Tindremic Empire. And when we are looking closer to the Kallards, the Northern Raiders, These guys avoided the worst of the eruption thanks to the cold climate over the years. They also tried to make their mark on Myrland, but sometimes through trade and sometimes to straight up being a Viking. So they are just basically Vikings going everywhere, destroying everything and looting everything. One time they stole an entire Tindremic trade fleet in the middle of the night from the Tindremic harbor. But the leader, Bard Legaldur, tried to negotiate peace with the Tindremic Empire. So the Tindremic Emperor, Azaios Avitus, literally said to Bard Legaldur, go f*** yourself. So yeah, the tensions between the north of Myrland and the Tindremic Empire is to this date high. Very high. But now to the other continent, Sarduca, where the Sarducaans live. These people are survivors, no doubt. But when the eruption hit, they found shelter in the underground caves that are beneath the main capital city called Beth Jeddah. So in their secret underground bunkers, they rebuilt the city in no time. And Sarduca was built up from the ground pretty fast compared to the Empire with their new shitty calendar. But they are still loyal to the Tindremic Empire. A short word to the Sidoians. I mean, their whole nation was destroyed a long time ago and nearly everyone was sold into the slavery into the Tindremic Empire and in Sarduca. And there are not many Sidoians left. They are mostly slaves for the Tindremic folk, and from their former glory is nothing left. They were also used as cheap labor to building up the stuff after the eruption again. So this is basically also the background story of every character that we now have in game. So this is the most recent lore. And I must say, I really love Star Wars world building. It's so awesome. They have a great story there, and I hope they will write more background lore to Mortal Online 2, and that they will also program in more background lore. Also more hidden things, for example, in the capital of Tindrem. But if you look closer, you will maybe find something. And I really hope that we will have an NPC AI update or something like that. That we have, I don't know, NPCs that are talking with us about the lore of the game, or maybe we can interact with some of them, or maybe we can find some very rare maps, lore texts, letters, or something like that. That's adding up to the huge world building. And I know that a lot of people are just here for the PvP and stuff. But it's also an RPG, and I think the world building is a huge part of an MMORPG, and is also a huge part of playing this game. I mean, I also played this game nearly 6 years before I even looked at the lore, or before I even understand anything about the lore. But the interesting thing is, the more I understood the whole lore of Mortal, the more fun it made just to look around. And there are a lot of roleplayers out there and people that enjoying stuff like that. And it would be awesome if Star Wars, when they have the time to implement a little bit more of the lore. So I hope you enjoyed this little episode here. So please, if you like and subscribe, would be really awesome, by the way. You can also comment below when I should talk about other topics, and share it with everyone who's maybe interested into the Mortal lore. So special thanks to all the supporters, of course. Carmel, Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, and all the others, of course. So never forget to seal off your cave heart. Party yard. And see you all next time. Goodbye.